Welcome back to the NFL Betting Card, brought to you by the Fanspeak Network. We're here to overreact, and trust me, I'm going to do that today. Overreact to everything we saw in Week 15 and look ahead to Week 16 to find the best sides and totals to bet right now.
Fanspeak, where the plan runs deep. The team grind hard, don't eat, don't sleep. From best ball dreams to DFS streaks, they help you print money every single week. No cap, no gimmicks, we breaking limits. NFL bets, yeah, we live this business. Megan Steve, that OG vision. Draft room killers on a lifelong mission. More stress to the Sunday spread. Fanspeak's that voice that's inside your head. Best ball, DFS, NFL bets. They built it brick by brick, no regrets. Fanspeak team, printing money since day one. Fanspeak, forever.
All right, we are live. Jayme, how are you? Tough Sunday there for your boys. Let me hear your breakdown of everything you saw this weekend.
I mean, there's no real breakdown. You lose your best receiver, you lose your best offensive lineman, and the best player on your team tears his ACL in the third quarter. There's not much else to really break down. That was pretty much the ball game there. I mean, you could just tell. I don't know if you watched the game, but they were just deflated pretty much.
You know, I was loving life, right?
Love you.
That was like my Super Bowl, right? That was like my Super Bowl. No, I just I enjoyed. I didn't enjoy watching your guys get hurt.
Yeah,
I did enjoy Bo Nix balling.
But Bo Nix played well. But if you watch the game, there's a world out there. He throws 4 interceptions. The Packers defensive backs just can't catch the ball. McKinney dropped 2 of them. Valentine's dropped one right in the corner.
But he also made plays. He also pushes down the field. Like, he doesn't just check down. Like, he's not afraid to get it to his receivers. He picks up key yardage with his legs, and I think that has to keep the defense dominant. And if you can make, little Jordan Humphrey and Marvin Mims look good, I think that we've been underrating this guy a little bit. So that's what I did enjoy. And yeah, I mean, obviously potential interceptions are there, but we say that, most quarterbacks are going to do that. At least most quarterbacks that I like, because I don't like quarterbacks that aren't aggressive.
Definitely different. Feels a little different narrative than what you said about Jordan Love all year, because you always bring up he's going to turn the ball over on a 4th and 8 or something like that. But all of a sudden, you do like the aggressiveness. I get it. I like how it flips. No, Bo Nix played great. I did think he played his best game.
Yeah, call me coward, dude. I'm here to flip, dude. You can catch me saying everything about every team. That's what we're here to do. We're overreacting, but I loved what I saw from Bo Nix last week.
No, he did play. He did play really well. I do, like I said, there were just multiple times where, like, just wide open catch. The Packers cannot take the ball away defensively at all, and this is why I always say that, like, turnovers are they're random. Like, last year, this Packers defense led the league in takeaways, or ended up being like top 5, and this year they're like bottom 5. It's just random bounces, things not going their way, and you just several times. And the thing too, it's like that one when he threw deep, literally hit McKinney right in his hands. Literally 2 plays later, Micah Parsons goes and tears his ACL. Like, maybe it was just always meant to be regardless, like that's just what it was. But it's just like little things like that were just very infuriating. But no, it sucks, man. There's you just, like, to be honest with you.
We're going to go ahead.
Well, I was just saying real quick, to be honest with you, like, as far as like the last time I felt how I felt on watching a game was 2014 NFC Championship, when the Packers played the Seahawks and they pretty much dominated that whole game. And there's a couple minutes left, and they're literally a 99% probability to win and go to the Super Bowl. And Brandon Bostic jumps in front of Jordy Nelson and botches the onside kick, and the Seahawks get it. They score a touchdown, goes to overtime, and then they throw a bomb to Doug Baldwin in overtime to end the game. That is, like, to be honest with you, how I felt, because at that moment, I looked over at my wife. I said, the season's over. Like, when Watson goes down, and then 2 possessions later, Micah goes down. It's just like, and then Zach Tom, the right tackle, goes down. It's just like, it was deflating. It just genuinely, I didn't even care about the game anymore. Like, to me, the loss is like, it was 2 good teams. You're playing in Mile High. A good team was going to lose no matter what. I don't care about the loss, but you lose Micah Parsons, and I mean, come on, man. You know what I mean? They just give up 2 first
and so
rounders
what I
for
was
the
going
guy.
to say is, obviously, it is one of the biggest games of the week. So we'll circle back and let's talk about how those injuries affect the Packers' outlook for the rest of the season. But not to rain on your parade, your injury was overshadowed by an even bigger one, and that was in the division of my favorite team, the AFC West, the Kansas City Chiefs. They lose Mahomes now, and that might even reach into next season.
Oh, it probably will. I mean, there's a chance he plays like week 1. He's not going to play any preseason or be prepared. Like, but I do think Mahomes, it's for a quarterback. I do think it's like less impactful as like wide receivers or a position or like a guy like Micah Parsons. So, but yeah, I mean, it was definitely devastating, especially the fact that they were already eliminated. You know, it's just like, I don't know, not icing on the cake because it's not icing on the cake. It's like whatever you call it when it's terrible. You know what I mean? It's just like it just keeps compounding. Like they are already eliminated, and then your quarterback tears his ACL, and then it's like, now is he going to be ready for week 1? I think there's a chance he's ready for week 1. I think there's a greater chance of him being ready early.
He'll be back. You think he'll be back by week 1? I was thinking he's not even going to be back till maybe like the end of the season if he's able to play. I was thinking he's going to be out all of next year.
No, Christian Watson.
Look that up real quick.
It's going to be like 9 months. Christian Watson tore his ACL in week 18 last year, and he got back week 6. And he's a wide receiver, right?
Yeah. All right. Let's see. When can the Chiefs expect their quarterback back? Tell me about what else you saw. Of course, the Buffalo Bills had that huge comeback. So pissed. I almost took the plus 600 too. I got plus 13 and a half live, and I saw the plus 600 right next to it. Anyways, that was actually like that and the Lions were my only 2 regrets. I did take the plus 6 with the Lions. What did you see there with the Buffalo Bills? Just more Josh Allen magic, huh?
Yeah, well, I think I felt like we all said this on the pod, right? How we all liked Buffalo, and like I said, I think New England's a good team. I just don't think they're better than Buffalo like right now today. Like I think they're going to be a really, really good team and a tough team to get out of there in the next several years. But like for this year, like I just think Buffalo is a little bit better, and I think Josh Allen is just still much better than Drake May, even though I love Drake May. But again, like you said, it's Josh.
Yeah, I mean that's not saying much, right? I mean that's like saying like, no, he's not as good as Nikola Jokic. Like, okay,
right, exactly. So it's not a knock on it, right? Not a knock on Drake May at all. But it's like, people. It's funny too because like when the Patriots got 21-0, I saw so many people, the disrespect of Buffalo being favored in New England.
Yeah,
and then that got quiet real quick. And like I said, this year, this postseason is going to be a lot of pressure on Josh Allen because you're not going to have Mahomes, and he has been the guy you literally could not get past. You're probably not going to have Lamar. I mean, maybe we'll talk about that later. If there's a chance you could still get Lamar, but no Joe Burrow either. Like this is your chance, right? Like you're going to be going up against Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, Drake May, and Bo Nix, some bunch of younger guys. Can you get it done? I think they're still
Nix is the one I'd be worried about.
Yeah, the defense for the Broncos, I think, would be the worry there. But yeah, there's some good
what
games,
is Nick's going to have to do for you guys to give him some credit?
I will give him credit of that. I do think I will say this about him, that the 2 biggest games of the year is his 2 best games. The game against the Chiefs a couple weeks back, and then this game. I will absolutely give him.
So we're not sticking you to it, but if you were to do quarterback rankings now, where do you think you would have him?
Probably around 15. I don't even remember what I did. I don't even remember where I had him last time.
I was thinking about 12.
12 feels a little aggressive. Like
that's what I like to do.
Because you also said like Jalen Hurts was like top 10 still or something, right? Like I don't.
Yeah. I mean, he looked pretty good last week.
Yeah, against your Raiders. If only you can play the Raiders every week.
All right, let's talk about the Los Angeles Rams, though, the new favorite to win the Super Bowl. With all this news, and of course, might make the path a little easier. That was my one thing that I got wrong. I took the Lions plus 6. I almost took them plus 8 live, but I was waiting for a higher number. I was hoping to get double digits, and it never got. Well, it might have got there, but at that point, I don't think I would have wanted it. It would have been late in the third. Yeah. But what did you think of the Rams dismantling the Lions? to me, I usually don't like to do this. I don't like to downgrade the losing team, but that's kind of what I took away from it. Like, we all had the Rams as the top team in the NFC, so we can't upgrade them anymore. And we were arguing they could be the top team in the NFL with the way that the AFC just continues to fall apart with injuries and this and that. I really thought the Lions were gonna do better here. You know, you're our NFC North expert, right? What do you think of the Detroit Lions this year? Do they have a chance at all to make noise in the playoffs? And how quickly can they regroup if they do end up being eliminated?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting one. I mean, they looked good early. Like, I won't lie, there was at one point, like, I looked over at my wife and Packers were up 23-14. I looked to the right on my TV on the right. The Rams are losing to the Lions. I look up, the Colts are beating the Seahawks, and I'm like, there's a world today ends and the Packers are the 1 seed all of a sudden, you know? And then obviously everything else flipped on all 3 of those. But I felt like the Lions, like they played them tough, right? They didn't get blown out. I just don't think the Lions defense is very good. I have worries about their offensive line, and I don't know. And Jahmyr Gibbs, the running game, it's very inconsistent, man. You know, it's like some weeks it's like he's the best running back there is. And then some weeks he has weeks like that where it's like they're struggling to get anything going. The Rams are a good team, though, man. Rams are a good team.
I was going to say, to be fair, the strength of the Rams defense is the rushing defense. Right?
100%.
If we're drawing up a game plan to beat the Rams, it's through the air.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, that was a good game, man. It was a fun one that I was watching when I was on my side TV, but I don't like downgrade the Lions too much. I think they just kind of are who they are, man. I think, and this is what we kind of said in this offseason, right? Like, I don't think they're not going to be as good as they were last year. I do think the offense has been much better under Dan Campbell since he's got it. Like, they're able to score and move the ball. I just don't think the defense is very good. I don't really love their corners.
And I know we don't really talk about him because he's doing so bad with the Jets, but you know, we do know that the offense downgraded with Ben Johnson leaving. Is there a chance that even though he has not been good as a head coach so far, they have downgraded on defense as well? And that Aaron Glenn, maybe he's a Mike McDaniel, maybe he's a Adam Gase or Josh McDaniel, where he's just an excellent coordinator that's an all right coach. And I mean, Saleh couldn't even make it with the Jets, and look what he's been doing with these other teams.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's probably likely, right? Like, I think that's like probably the most likely outcome. And they've had some injuries too, like to their DBs and stuff. They've been in and out all year, but I still just like, I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs. Like, it's going to be, I mean, they're probably going to be the 7th seed if they get in, right? Like, it feels like more than likely, unless a couple things happen, the Colts or you have the Colts beat the 49ers, and that could change some things. But it feels like the most likely outcome, right, is that it's going to be 2 of Packers, Bears, and Lions. I don't think so either. But I mean, they played the Seahawks pretty tough too, right? And that was Rivers coming off the couch out of the week.
Yeah, it is indeed. Okay.
So like you never know, but I still think, like I said, the most likely outcome is going to be 2 teams from the NFC North, right? Between the Bears, Lions, and the Packers. I don't think 3 of those teams can get in. Like I said, unless the 49ers.
West will end up having 3 then?
The NFC West. So we will have the Rams, the Seahawks,
and the Niners.
And the Niners, yeah. That I think is the most likely. Of course, if this, like I said, if 49ers lose to the Colts this week, that's going to change everything. But I think it's going to come down to
that happening.
Because as of right now, like this matchup between the Packers, like they keep going back and forth. It's like if the Packers win against the Bears, then the Packers will be the 2 seed, the Bears will be the 7 seed. But I believe the Lions still play the Bears, right? So I think if you're a Lions fan, you're probably rooting for Green Bay this weekend because the Packers already beat you twice. So I think that's probably what they're rooting for. And they still play the Bears, so they can add another loss and another win at the same time. So it's going to be a fun little race down to the end.
Well, and also I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up, we have to offer our condolences to Tyler because his team won. So I'm sure he'll be upset because all he cares about is firing his coach and the NFL. He cares more about the NFL draft than he does the actual games. All right. We'll do best bets. And then, I mean, if we don't cover these top games, there's a bunch that I'm going to get your opinion on regardless. So I know that you already know 2 of ours because Tyler and I agree. And so even though he's not here,
Yeah.
We were on the exact same 2 bets. So why don't you start, and then you know where I'm going to go, and I got my 2 set up, and I'm going to finalize my 3rd as we're breaking these down.
Yeah, let's go Thursday Night Football. I like Seattle money line. It's very
different.
My, is that what? Is that not what you thought, or you agree, or?
Well, you had prepped me that I wasn't going to be what I was expecting, but I was given the genuine reaction shock that I would have if I didn't expect it. I mean, really, you're taking Seattle?
I like Seattle. Again, I've been on the record. I think the Rams are the best team in football when fully healthy. I think that I also, like I said, everyone knows I have that plus 2,500 Super Bowl ticket on the Rams for the season. So this is no hate on the Rams. I think the loss of Davante Adams is way more impactful than people think. I think the Seahawks have a really good defense, and they showed that the last time that they played in LA, right? Both teams scored like less than 20 points in that game. It was a close game, lower scoring game. I think it's going to be the same thing. And like I said, I just think people are undervaluing Davante Adams' impact. And I believe he's going to be out. I think it's pretty likely he's going to be out. He still hasn't practiced. 32-year-old guy with hamstring injuries. Like, I don't see him playing this week. But his ability, he's a cheat code in the red zone. He is. And I think you kind of take that away with an already really good defense in Seattle. I think Sam Darnold will be able to play at home, although like Sam Darnold has played pretty bad for the last 3 or 4 weeks, to be honest. Like, he has not been able to move the ball whatsoever, but I think being at home is going to be able to benefit him. So I don't even need like the plus 1.5 that they're showing at like FanDuel or DraftKings. Like, I just think give me the money line with Seattle. I think the Rams injury to Davante is probably the biggest thing. And again, I just think Seattle's defense is really good. So I'd like the Seattle side, although like I said, it does pain me a little bit because I've been kind of against Seattle most of the season and Sam Darnold and been on the Rams side, but I just think this matches up pretty well for them. And like I said, no Davante. People are going to realize the impact of Davante pretty quick.
All right. Well, first of all, I hope that you're right. I almost just want to join you just as a fan because I am a Seahawks guy. I think this game is fun to talk about because I think it illustrates some of the things that I stress on this show. And I know I like to tease you about EPA and statistics and stuff. But my basic model is to look at the statistics and then watch the game and try to figure out like, what are these statistics not showing me? And so I think this game kind of provides an interesting conundrum with Darnold and we've talked about it before. Do we shorten our sample size, right? Because season long, I'll bet you, and I don't have it, here, and maybe you can pull it up, but I'll bet you it's like EPA and his overall statistics, like yards per attempt and QBR and stuff that we like, are going to show that he's a real good quarterback. But if we sort it for the last 4 games, it hasn't been good. It didn't look good against mediocre Indianapolis defense. And I know that they were great earlier in the year, but they've had a bunch of injuries too. My concern there is the recent play of the Seahawks. And, Tyler and I argued, and I said, I'm not saying that Sam Darnold's going to win the Super Bowl. I agree with you. I don't trust him in the playoffs. But when we're talking fantasy football and we're talking betting the regular season, I think he's been pretty good. But it feels like this year, last year it took until week 17. It feels like this year it's coming a little early. I haven't bet it yet. Boy, I want to join you though. So I think I will. Let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it.
Hop on.
So you're really not worried about the recent performances, right? I mean, they didn't even score a touchdown against the Colts.
No, I'm not. I'm not super concerned about it. Like I said, I think them playing at home is going to be pretty impactful. And again, I'm not necessarily saying that I think like Sam Darnold is just going to absolutely cook. Although I hope so, because my Bulldog team that did advance actually has like a little mini stack of this game of Sam Darnold, JSN, and Puka. So if it did, that
Davante injury could actually, it's going to suck for your Rams ticket, but for week 16, could be really good because you could have 2 guys with 14 targets each.
100%.
You might have the 2 highest targeted receivers in the whole week.
Yeah, and especially in that pod, right? The pod's only 4 people, so you already got like a 25% chance, and it would be nice to be able to, you go in that pod, and I'm like the only person that has Puka or JSN or something. That would be ideal. But no, I'm not necessarily saying that I think Sam Darnold's just going to go out there and absolutely cook them. I think majority of this is based off of Seattle's defense and then the Rams not having Adams. I'm telling you, man, like people don't realize how impactful Devontae Adams is to this team. Like they get down to the 1 yard line, man. And he's a cheat code. You can't guard him, right? They run that 13 personnel with 3 tight ends, and then they have Adams out there. And I think Puka is really, really good. Puka's obviously a better overall wide receiver, but he's not more impactful in the red zone, right? Like I think that's pretty
Adams
clear.
is the bigger body with better hands, right? Puka's a younger, faster, shiftier guy that's a great route runner. Okay, excellent. One other thing I'd like to say to give you some encouragement, if I were to bet a total on this game, I like the over. My projections have this game going over. I listened to a couple pods of guys that I respect today. They were on the over as well. So, it could be a good sign for you here.
I hope so. I hope so. I hate the Thursday night games, but it's at least going to be making it a fun
I was going to say, if you were Sunday at 1 p.m., it would be even better. Yeah. We 4 p.m. Well, what are you, Mountain Time? So what time do you get them?
So like 2:15, 2:30.
So you go 11.
That's the afternoon, 11 and 2:15. Yeah, the early game's 11, and then the other one's 2:15.
All right, let's start with my first best bet. I'm going to keep rocking the Los Angeles Chargers. They got it done for us last week against Kansas City. Once again, they're underdogs. Of course, are a little bit worried about the travel, but I took the money line. I didn't even grab the points here. Hopefully, I won't regret that, but it's probably because I've been betting a ton of basketball, and you sell points in basketball, and it just works out so well. Can't do that in football, though. Definitely got burned a couple weeks ago on that Mountain West Championship game where I tried to buy it down to 58 and landed on 59. Regardless, I like the Chargers here, and I think that the Cowboys had a nice little run in the middle of the season where they kind of got boosted by the trades. Obviously, they still have one of the top 10 offenses in the league, but there are still some cracks or some issues with this team, which is why they were in that position to begin with. And I think that some of those flaws are resurfacing. Normally, I would say this is a letdown spot for the Los Angeles Chargers, right? Coming off a big win over the big bad Kansas City Chiefs. Fortunately for me making this bet, I don't feel that Harbaugh is like, if you were playing like one of those video games or role-playing games, like he's the card where like let down spots don't apply. Like he just, if you have Harbaugh as your coach, like there are no let down spots. He gets these guys up every single week. I just think they're better at all facets of the game. The defense is so much better to me. As good as Dak has been this year, I like Herbert a little better. I know the Chargers had that beat up offensive line, but they found a way to make it work. They found a nice rushing attack there between the mix of Vidal and Hampton. Not necessarily thunder and lightning, because Vidal's not necessarily just small and super fast, but two accomplished runners here. And then we've seen, almost like what the Rams do, right? The youth and the veteran, right? With Ladd and Keenan. So got a lot of good things going for the Chargers. I couldn't believe it that I got plus money here. I thought the Chargers should be like -1 or -2. And I know going through 0 isn't the same amount of points. So I still think this line is like 3 points off. What do you think about this game? Am I missing something here? Am I underestimating the Dallas Cowboys?
I don't want to say you're underestimating. I do lean with the Chargers for sure. The Cowboys, it definitely seems like the last couple of weeks that they've regressed a little bit. I also do think, like, we don't say this with every team, but I feel like if there was a team that had a little bit of quit in them, it could be Dallas. Like, if they were able to win against Minnesota, I would feel a little different. But, like, we've seen it before with Pickens. Like, Pickens could, even though he should not be because he's playing for a contract, right? But there's some quit in this team, I feel like, right? Like, if they get kind of punched in the mouth, I think they could be in trouble. And granted, like I said, they're not mathematically out, but I think I'm trying to think how is it if the Eagles win, are they for sure out, or the Eagles have to lose twice out of 3? Do you remember what that is?
Right now.
Okay, because I mean there is a situation, right? Because the Eagles play Saturday, so if the Eagles go out there and win, I'm thinking that the Eagles have to lose twice and not all 3 of their games, and then the Cowboys have to win out. So there's still likely going to be like a 1% chance, no matter what, that the Cowboys are going to be have a chance to make the playoffs. So I doubt they're going to fully quit, but it sucks, man, because I have a lot of like Dak too, a lot of Pickens, and a lot of like redraft stuff too. So part of me is kind of hoping this team just wins and keeps their chances alive. But I agree. I do think the Chargers are just better coached. I think Dak's really good, but I still like Herbert. The offensive line to me is a bit of a concern, but I feel like the strength of Dallas has been in the run game more so recently. I still feel like they can get shredded in the air too. So it could be like a nice little McConkey bounce back game too.
All right. So if Dallas loses, they are eliminated for sure.
They have to win out.
And if the Eagles win, Dallas is eliminated for sure. Or they win the NFC East for sure.
Okay. Yeah. So they would have to.
I don't think Dallas can catch the wild card spot. So I think the Dallas would be eliminated.
Really? So the Eagles have to lose out, basically? The Eagles have to lose out.
And I think Dallas is only way because these teams play each other, right? So they can't catch, the Seahawks and the Rams, like someone's gonna have to win.
Yeah.
So I think they're done. If that's
if that's the case.
Also, just I didn't bring it up, but it said Mahomes could be back by week 2 or 3 next year.
Yeah, makes sense.
I want to throw that out there. I did look it up. So I thought it was going to be worse.
Yeah. But if that's the case, like I said, the Eagles play Saturday, right? So if they really do need the Eagles to lose out.
They do. I didn't even think about that game.
Yeah. So like if
they're off my radar.
Yeah. If they lose, man, or if the Eagles win, then the Cowboys would be mathematically eliminated, I guess. I thought that they had maybe lose 2, but I could be wrong.
They might have a wild card scenario.
There's probably like a 1% chance, right? Like I think that's probably the outcome almost regardless, is they have a 1% chance. So as long as they have a fighting chance, I still would expect the team to come out and play. But overall, either way, I do lean with what you think too. I think Chargers are just better coached. I like Justin Herbert. Like I said, I think this feels like a good bounce back spot for McConkey, who has kind of struggled here recently.
All right, let's go ahead and get your second best bet for NFL Week 16.
So let's stick with the Eagles and Washington. I like the under 44.5 in this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I just you know how I kind of am with the Eagles offense in general. They're mostly a fade for me. Obviously, last week, when you play the Raiders, it helps get things going a little bit. I do think I also just think that this is going to be maybe a more slower pace game. I think that this team is a little bit more content with kind of relying on Barkley right now. Late in the season, I think Barkley is starting to play better the last couple of weeks. I think that they're going to want to try to slow the game down. And I also just think that their defense is really good, where it's going to make Marcus Mariota and this Washington offense struggle. So I just don't see a lot of points from either side here. I still think the Eagles win probably pretty easily, but I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if this was like a 24-7 game or, 24-10 or something like that.
All right. So Jayme, not expecting a lot of offense from the Commanders there, going under 44 on the first game of our Saturday slate. My next one, I'm going with the dog that I just was shocked by. New England coming off a loss is +3 against the Ravens. That doesn't make sense to me. So the sports books are telling me that these teams are equal on a neutral. How?
Yeah.
To me, that is shocking. I mean, I talk about, what subset of data are you using? Are we using like the last 5 years to create these power rankings here to make these teams equal? I don't understand it. I know the Patriots had that tough loss here, but they were coming in on a 10-game win streak. They might need a loss to kind of smack them back into reality, right? Certain teams, and you'll see it with coaches too, maybe more in basketball. But I remember, like Phil Jackson and Steve Kerr a couple times not really getting mad when they're like teams that were playing really well lost one, just so we can have a message in the locker room, right? It's hard.
Yeah.
You're on a 10-game winning streak. It's kind of hard, as a coach to really get the guys to dial in on some of these finer points when you keep on winning here. But I just don't get it. Like Lamar, it's had a better career, but for this season, Drake May's been the much better quarterback. yeah, of course the Ravens do have like the better weapons. We've talked for weeks about how the Patriots' weakness is their offensive weapons, but McDaniels has done a great job of getting May to use those guys effectively. And don't look now, right? It's almost like the Bears here, where they're kind of getting this rushing attack going to where they're able to pick up first downs and explosive plays on the ground. So it doesn't matter that they don't have, a Justin Jefferson or Puka Nacua or a JSN out there catching balls for them, because Travion Henderson is providing those explosive plays. On the other end of the ball, to me, I know the Ravens beat the Bengals, but, now this is twice I've done it, doing something that I don't like to do. But to me, that was just a referendum on where the Bengals are at as a franchise and just where they at under head coach Zach Taylor. And, I don't call for guys to be fired, but, he would be one that I would understand. I think that he's lost control of that locker room. And when he scapegoated Anarumo instead of rolling with him, I think he downgraded at DC for sure. And that's been rough for the Cincinnati Bengals. So to me, I rate that about the same. I know Joe Burrow is 10 times better than whatever we're throwing out there in quarterback, but it's the same as that Eagles win over the Raiders, right? I mean, do we even rate it that highly? Like, whoop-de-doo, you beat a Bengals team that's quit. Great job here. I'm all over the Patriots. I took the +3. I should just add the +133 too, now that I'm talking about it, huh?
Yeah, you should. I mean, might as well, if that's what you like.
Yeah, I got to. Well, before I hit submit, tell me your thoughts on this game, and if you think that I'm just being a little too square here on just taking the winning franchise against the team that's losing this season.
Yeah, I think it's this is the one that gives me a little bit more pause. I just think you're going to look at probably a lot of like really smart people's power ratings. And it's kind of what I talked about earlier this year with New England. And I still think people are going to probably be weighing Baltimore ahead. Like, regardless of, like, again, if you just look at this year, like, yeah, Drake May has played better than Lamar Jackson for this year. But like you and I said, we could have said that for years about Patrick Mahomes, right? Like, Patrick Mahomes the last 3 years statistically hasn't been very great, but like we still rank him number one as the number one quarterback. Like Lamar Jackson is still better than Drake May, regardless of if that's been the case for this season or not. So I do have a little bit of worry on this one. Again, like I said, I probably need to remove some of my biases here because I've said this all year that I think New England is a good team. I really like Drake May. I think the future is very bright. I just think that they've been a little overvalued by the market a little bit. But New England could absolutely win. I can't fault you for your pick. This one just gets me a little bit nervous. I'm not going to play it. I'm going to stay away either way. But like I said, I get it. I totally get the rationale. Drake May has been playing great this year. MVP candidate. New England has been awesome. I just wouldn't be shocked if the Baltimore team that we kind of expected, at the beginning of the season comes out and plays that way again. And Lamar kind of is maybe getting a little bit healthier off of that hamstring injury. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's just a chance that they are better than maybe we think, right? Maybe they're closer to the team that we
but that's the thing here with all these NFL bets, there's always a chance, right? I mean, even I kind of poo-pooed the idea of Phillip Rivers and the Colts beating the Niners, but we've watched the NFL long enough to know there's a chance. In fact, Jayme, and this is why if Tyler was on, I was going to make fun of him. You don't want to be in the situation I'm in as a fan right now, where I'm deathly afraid that we're going to get one of those scenarios for my Raiders the next 2 weeks. And I really like Mendoza. Maybe Dante Moore will show me something when the Oregon Ducks beat James Madison by 40 in a game that shouldn't even be happening. But we've talked about that before. But I do like my chances here. And if we're saying, hey, you have to win 55 to 58%, to make money at this long term, I feel like this falls into my 55 to 58% category where I just can't believe it. I mean, where do you have these teams? I have them like Patriots -3 on a neutral.
Yeah, no, I don't. I have this like on a neutral, honestly, closer to a pick 'em.
Really? Okay, so then you agree with the line. I mean, you're giving the Ravens a little more. We know that home field is really 2 in the NFL these days, but
yeah, and also too, it does depend on there are different home field advantages, right? Like I think we've all talked about like home field advantage in Mile High and Lambeau is probably different than Mile High and SoFi Stadium in LA, right? Like there's definitely it's not just
for sure. I'd say SoFi's for the Chargers. It's 1 if it's even anything.
It's about 1.
I would 100%. Say the Raiders is about 1 because we get 50 to 60% opposing fans every week.
Yeah, in Vegas, 100%. So I do think it is a little bit different. I think the home field in Baltimore is worth a decent bit too. But I just think again, I think the New England is very good. But again, when you kind of adjust for strength of schedule and things of that nature, I just think they're a little bit lower of a team. I'm not going to bet it because I still have worry myself, right? Like maybe Baltimore is just cooked, right? Like maybe Lamar has just really regressed this year, and maybe the defense just isn't as good as we kind of thought they could be. But I feel like the defense at times has played all right. I thought they played much better last week, getting a lot of pressure on Joe Burrow. Drake May is also, I think, like top 5 in sacks allowed. Like he does allow a lot of sacks. And I also don't think like Drake May the last several weeks has been tearing it apart from a passing perspective. Like I feel like he's been a really good runner. I feel like he's made some plays, but he hasn't to me just absolutely crushed it as a passer the last several weeks. Maybe there was a game here or there in between that. Like I said, though, I really don't like it to make it seem like I don't like New England or Drake May because I'm really optimistic about this team in the long term. And I think Drake May is going to be an absolute stud. And I think if we do that draft all over again, he's the number 1 pick going to the Bears. So I'm thankful that he is not a Chicago Bear. But I just think for right now, I think that team is just slightly overvalued. And I think maybe Baltimore is still a little undervalued, in my opinion.
Tyler, help me out here. Tell me why the New England Patriots are a great bet this weekend in Baltimore.
Baltimore sucks. I mean, the eye test tells you that team sucks. I mean, we've watched them all year. They can't get out of their own way. The Henry busts off back-to-back 20-yard runs on Sunday, gets them into the red zone, and they just stop giving them the ball. Like this team they just won't get out of their own way. Their defense is absolute trash. They can't stop anyone. And now New England.
Well, they stopped Cincinnati. Yeah, they scored 0 points. Yeah, I mean, and Joe Burrow is a pretty good quarterback. I will say, and Jamar Chase good.
Yeah, but you take away one of their wide receivers, it really slows them down. So, but again, their defense isn't that good. One game isn't going to separate them. So I still think that defense is absolute trash. I'm willing to fade them again right here.
All right, Tyler.
If they don't blank the Bengals, what is this spread? And New England wins that game against Buffalo. New England minus 4.5.
I mean, I don't know. But those are a lot of what ifs, like what if they don't dominate? What if New England doesn't piss down their leg?
I don't know if it's 4.5. I think it'd be -1 or -2. I don't think you would get I don't think you would get past 3.
It just feels like the wrong team's favorite here.
I completely agree with you. So Jayme gave us some concerns. So you heard both sides. Anything else? I had already talked about our other play, but I told them that you had approved it for me taking that Chargers money line. I didn't even grab the points with that one, Tyler. If you want to just reinforce why you like the Superchargers against the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, the Dallas defense is improved. It's a run defense. Like that front 4 is great against the run. But the Chargers don't have to run the ball. They'll just let Herbert air it out on this defense. We just watched J.J. McCarthy throw all over this defense, who can't throw the ball to anyone. So, I mean, Herbert's going to get these guys down the field. He's got a ton of weapons to use in this game, too. And the Chargers' defense is massively underrated. I think they'll be able to slow down Dak. And George Pickens has become the Pittsburgh Pickens again. He doesn't care about football. So, I think their offense is slowing down and the Chargers are picking up. So, another one where I think the wrong team's favored.
All right. I'm glad we both agree there. Jayme, while you're doing your breakdown, I wasn't laughing at what you said. It was this comment from Mike Robb when I said I didn't call for people to be fired. And Mike Robb says, doesn't call for these guys to be fired. Last time you went to the bingo hall, you called for the senior citizen ball roller to take a hike. As I quote, that old bastard doesn't have time left for this. And Mike Robb, I think you misinterpreted what I was saying. I'm a big hiking enthusiast. And I had found a nice 3-mile trail for him. So, no, I didn't want him to be fired.
You guys hear me?
Shots fired there when you come on and said Baltimore sucks to the big Mike Robb fan. And the final one, we talked about this earlier. Drake May is way overperforming expectation, but Sunday showed the difference between him and guys like Josh Allen. Well, Josh Allen is right now. I mean, especially since Mahomes out, we don't have to argue about it. To me, he's the best player in the league. So I don't think we need to say, hey, this guy sucks because he's not the best player in the league. All right, go ahead. Jayme, what do you want to say?
You want to get my best bet? I already broke down.
I didn't know if I cut you off. I thought I cut you off. Tyler, did I cut you off while we were reading the comments before we go to the next best bet?
No, all my stuff shut off for a second and flashed back on. I thought maybe I lost connection. That's why I asked if you could hear me.
Okay. Cool. All right. I just wanted to make sure the chat saw that we see them. We appreciate them. And no, Mike Robb, big hiking enthusiast here. That's what I meant when I said take a hike. Jayme, your third best bet.
So to be honest, I don't have there's 3 or 4 bets that I kind of all view the same. So I don't want to say this is a best bet where I absolutely love it.
Okay.
But you guys know how I do love me some betting on some bad teams. So Tyler, plug your ears.
If this is who I think it is, this is going to be.
I like this one too. I
think one of the ones I have in reserve here, have in the holster, is one you guys are thinking, and it's probably one that Tyler's thinking. I don't think I'm going to say that one, so not now. We'll bring that up later. I did not want that stamped down as a best bet, but this one's still just stinky. It's the Jets plus 4.5. I just think I make this honestly closer to 3. So I just think both of these teams are pretty bad. I think the Saints, and I mentioned last week about the Saints, was when they upset the Panthers, that's just a classic Panthers thing to do, man. Just the flip, the flop every single week. I think the Saints got a good win last week. I think Tyler Shuck has honestly played pretty well. I'm not very confident in the Saints. I think both of these teams are honestly pretty bad. I just think the Jets are going to be able to move the ball here. I think Breece Hall's going to be able to move the ball. I like what we kind of saw with A.D. Mitchell. So I think that the Jets are just a little bit more live here. I just have this at 3. So if I'm getting the 4.5, I'm just going to go ahead and take this. And I think it's probably a close game either way. It's hard for me to envision either one of these teams just kind of blowing out. And I will say the one, to me, biggest part of the edge is I think the Jets' special teams is actually pretty good. A week in and week out, they're constantly making plays. So I think that's probably the biggest edge on both sides of the ball. So give me the Jets at plus 4.5.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. I wrote that down for our overreactions. I mean, are the Panthers the most unbettable team in football?
They make no sense.
Dude, they have film where they look like a playoff team, and they have film where they look like they should be drafting number 1 overall.
It's night and day.
Every
other game.
It's wild, man. You beat the Packers and you beat the Panthers or the Rams, and then you go and you lose to teams like the Saints. Yeah. I'm just it's every week with this team, man. So who do they play this week? Maybe this is the time to beat them. Who do they play this week? Where are they at? I don't even see them on my thing.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. Huh?
They'll beat Tampa Bay just to keep that division entertaining.
Yeah, that's actually kind of a fun game, to be honest. I guess with some implications, I guess. But yeah, I like the Jets.
The way they've been playing today, they looked pretty bad last week. We should probably bet them this week.
Right.
Yeah, it's so funny about that. I agree with your pick because 4.5 is too much, but I kind of think the Saints are doing a little better than we expect. So here's the things that I would say in the Saints' favor. I don't think they've quit. I know you like your offensive coaches, and I
love Kellen Moore. Yeah,
I hate to say it, I do too. I think he's doing a good job with Shuck, and I mean, Shuck's got a pro body. You can see why they chose him over the Rat. He's a pretty big guy with a pretty strong arm, and of course, a nice throw to Olave there to seal out that game for the Saints. Fairly balanced team there, but I agree with you. This line should be 2.5 or 3. 4.5 seems like it's too much. Are there any thoughts on the Saints or the Jets?
Is it going to be Brady Cook or is it?
Yeah, we're going to let Brady cook.
I can't bet on Brady Cook.
I do think it's Brady.
He didn't look that bad.
I thought he looked all right, to be honest. I thought
compared to what they've had.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a downgrade from Justin Fields.
I don't either.
To be honest.
No, but the only way I'm betting on the Jets is if Tyrod Taylor's under center. So
yeah, I would.
That's my
that
take
much
on
of a
the
difference at this point.
I don't think it's a bad play. I think it's two bad teams. The Jets could win this game outright.
Yeah,
I just don't want my money in there unless it's Tyrod under center.
Yeah,
that's fair enough. I would disagree with you there. I don't think
for as quote unquote good as Brady Cook looked this past week, he could look like a completely different guy this coming Sunday.
There is no doubt. Yeah, you're not wrong. He could could look rough. Fair.
But this is almost like a numbers play, right? Where you just take the team names off, look at their records, look at their statistics, right? Look at their yards per play. They're pretty close. How is one getting 4.5? All right, Tyler, do you have another best bet for us?
Before I give a best bet, do you guys know if the Jags beat Denver, do they overtake the 1 seed?
Oh, I just looked that up. Let me re-pull it up.
Because that would put them all at, or never mind, they're 10-4. So never mind. Okay.
Oh yeah, they have 2 losses here.
They have an extra loss more than the Patriots and Denver. So
yeah,
that would not. I think that's
so if they win.
Mm-hmm.
If they win and either Houston or Indy loses, then they clinch a playoff berth.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're the team that's coming to life in the AFC. I know that was the Jets they just beat up on, but Lawrence looks like he's getting really hot. That offense is starting to click. The defense is putting it together. AFC's wide open, and they could be the team that could make a run. Same thing with their division rival, the Houston Texans, with that defense.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for my next bet, I think it's an easy one. I have no idea how Cleveland's keeping this under 11 points. Buffalo's not going to have any problem with the weather. Yeah. I don't know how Cleveland's going to score. Maybe Shador puts up some big games. But the thing is when you beat Buffalo, it's more on the ground. And if Buffalo runs out to a quick lead, they're not really going to be able to run the ball here. So he's going to be launching the ball down the field like he likes to do. Yeah, he can complete some deep passes and get some yards out of it. But I think Buffalo's defense is slowly starting to put together. They could get some interceptions here, some turnovers, and increase that lead. So I like Buffalo minus 10.5. I think you get a very wide margin of victory there.
All right. I think that's the Browns are pretty good against the spread at home. That would be my only concern there. If you like the Browns, Tyler, the only thing I would say wait too. I think Buffalo's going to continue to take money. I'm seeing it's close to 10.5 offshore.
No, I like the Bills. I don't like.
Oh wait, you like the Bills? I would bet it right now. Then I think they're going to continue.
I don't know how they keep it close in my head. Like, unless their defense just shits the bed again, I just think.
Do you think this is one of those games though where they go to Josh and they're like, "Bro, I do not want to see none of this Superman Cam Newton stuff. Throw the ball, get out of the pocket, you know."
Spread. They're 10-4. Sitting in the 6th seed with 2 games to go. There is no, bro, let's relax.
That's a good point.
This has got 27-14 written all over it.
Okay, I can see that. And that gives you pretty close to your total there of 42. What about just like a Browns team total under instead?
I'm not worried about the Browns here as much as you are.
Okay. Right now, offshore, I see under 16.5, minus 13.5. I'm kind of like you, Jayme. I don't really have a great last one. I love those first 2. You know how bad I want to take the Bears, but I can't do that.
Come on, just take it.
Well, we'll talk about that game after we finish up our best bets. So the last one that I was considering, and I'd love to hear your thoughts because I don't necessarily need to pull the trigger on this one. The Pittsburgh Steelers. +7. Doesn't this seem like a Tomlin spot where nobody believes in them? Unfortunately, it also feels like a Campbell spot where they win by 44 points at home. That's what kept me off it. Is just the Lions always being so much better at home. But do you think the Steelers can rally here and keep this one close? Start with you, Jayme.
I hope so. Because I mean, I think if the Packers do win and then the Steelers win, I think the Packers do clinch a spot 100%. So it would be a little poetic for the Packers to beat the Bears. Then Rodgers comes and takes out the Lions to get the Packers.
I didn't think about that one storyline. Nice.
But I don't know. +7, it does feel a little bit too much for what we're talking about the Lions. But Steelers feel like a volatile team to me too. Like, I don't know. it feels kind of like a bounce. I'm with you though. Like it feels like maybe it should be a Tomlin spot, but it also feels like it could be a Campbell spot. I just think the Lions are going to be able to put up points. And so it's basically, to me, is like, do you think Pittsburgh is also going to be able to keep pace? Like, I think Detroit can put up 30, right? Like, do you think Pittsburgh's going to be able to put up 24? Because I think
don't let that
sometimes
Miami game fool you either. I mean,
right.
That's
I feel
Miami
like
in cold weather.
right. And I think they're kind of a little bit of front runner-ish, right? Like, I think that like that team, if they get a lead,
cannot win from behind.
Right. I don't think they have that anymore.
And that was going to be my point there. So normally, like a lot of these games, when I'm on the fence, right, what I'll do is just watch and then try and get a couple more points live. Like that's what I did with the Broncos, because by the time I went to bet it was down to +1, and it was +2.5. And I'm like, well, they'll put it back to 2.5 at some point in the game. But on this one, I feel that the Steelers, if they get behind, it's over. Right? Like
they could be behind.
I don't want to lie like +13, +14 like I would. Go ahead, Tyler.
So they could be behind 14-0 in the blink of an eye in this game.
Yeah. All right. I think you talked me off.
And think about, I mean, the pressure they were getting on Stafford, like Hutchinson and those guys were back there a lot of that game. Rodgers was getting sacked by that Miami front that's not that good at all. I think they got 3 sacks last night. Mm-hmm. You're going to let Detroit pin their ears back and go after him? Like, this isn't. And a lot of these guys played against him when he was on the Packers still. Yeah, they want to take him out. So I think this is Lions by margin. Gibbs is due for a big game, too. I don't know if you've seen the thing where it's 3 touchdowns and then 0 and then 3 and then 0.
Yeah.
Well, he had a dud on Sunday. Be ready for this next coming Sunday when he's running past all the old guys on our defense.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, to be honest with you, like H-Chain was running the ball really well.
Yeah,
like,
he couldn't break the big one.
He couldn't break the big one, and then it's just like their time of possession was just so bad where like they just didn't have a lot of plays because he'd bust a big one, and then like Tua would get sacked or thrown in completion, and next thing you know they're punting at like the 40. But like H-Chain was averaging like 6 or 7 yards.
A couple of these guys could come back this coming week. I think maybe you get one of them back, but it really flew under the radar because they went ahead and just ran away with the game and never had a problem. They had 3 healthy corners that game. If one of those guys went down, Jalen Ramsey had to swap from safety back down to corner. Another guy has to come play safety. The defense is in a flux now.
Yeah.
If they don't get those guys back and that happens against Detroit, that could get ugly fast.
All right, you talked me out of it. All right, let's just talk about the rest of the games then, unless you guys have more like best bets that you love, because there's a bunch of matchups on here.
I have to ask Jayme just because I stared at the game when he was talking about the ugly bets, and he was like, "I'm not going to say it."
Yeah.
Was that one you were keeping in the holster? The Raiders +14.5.
Yeah. I love it.
No,
I love it.
They've quit. They've quit.
You're
it's very rare that I say a team quits in the NFL, and that's why I always say I enjoy the NFL so much more than the NBA. I mean, the NBA, I can find a team that quits once a week if you really need to go through it.
You know what spread you need in that game to cover it as an underdog?
Like 29.
How many points do you think Houston's going to score?
Right.
I think Houston scores 24.
So you need 21.5.
24.5.
Yeah.
Oh, you think we'll get a field goal?
Maybe they'll get a field goal. That's about it.
Hey, Jacoby and Trey McBride had a lot of success against Houston. I think is Geno playing?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
That's not great.
Good luck with that.
They had 75 yards offense last week.
Even Geno sucks. I know.
75. I mean, there's so many players that had more yards in there.
He's so bad. He is so bad.
And trust me, I'm not trying to say here I think the Raiders are going to win the game outright. I just make this like +13. And again, I'm just like 14.5. Like they could lose by 2 touchdowns, or they could be down by 19, and then you just get a Pete Carroll. Come on, my guy.
He's playing for the cover, right?
Yes. Like it's going to be like they'll be down 17, and Pete Carroll's like, Carlson, get out there. Kick this. Next thing you know, they lose by 14. It's and again, I will just say that this is also, I've talked about this all the time. It's just another one of the things that fit the criteria of the team gets blown out by 20 the week prior, and then their dogs the following week. They just do fit that narrative.
I just think that this is the exception that proves the rule, because I really think the team has quit. And I
that's
think
possible.
For whatever reason, as much as I like Pete, I mean, I'm 50. I don't think these guys that are like 22 like him, and the way that he did that line dirty. And I think that Powers Johnson is popular in the locker room, and the way he's treated him probably hasn't gone over well. And then when you preach a mantra of being competitive, but you refuse to bench the quarterback, but then, you won't play the rookies. I think the locker room turned on him, and I think they know he's gone too. So
Look,
I think that's just one of the rare cases where we throw the numbers out.
Like I said, I absolutely made sure that was not going to be even listed as a potential best bet, and I was keeping it in the holster just to throw it out at the end. Like, hey, if anyone else wants to dabble, like what that's the 225 game. Maybe you went 4-0 in the early slate. And you're like, you know what? I got a little extra coin to play with. Let me put this on the Raiders at plus 14.5.
All right, let's talk about the best games of the week, Jayme. And you don't know how prepared I was to come on here and dance on the Packers' grave and make fun of you and this and that. But then I looked and I go, I can't trust Caleb to be the one to do this finishing blow here. I'm really concerned about the way that the Bears looked against the Packers 2 weeks ago. And I know that Parsons was huge in that game and Watson was huge in that game. And I'd even said, I think on the show, Watson was the difference in that game. I just don't know if I'm ready to trust Caleb Williams here yet. And then I'm also worried, I know we're supposed to trust the wisdom of the market, but these popular dogs, I think they were plus 2.5 when this opened on Sunday. And now it's down to plus 1. I mean, I guess the same thing worked for the Broncos last week. So maybe I shouldn't be too worried about it. Man, I hate to tell you, Jayme, I'm going to be rooting against you here, but I can't make it a bet. Go ahead, though. Give us your breakdown, though, and how you think that those 3 major injuries. I know we don't talk about the guard as much or the tackle as much, but I think he's just as key as the other two. Maybe not Parsons, right? But I mean, huge loss there for the Packers. Do you think they can overcome and defeat a division rival? And if they do, number one, obviously that's going to help LaFleur a little bit, regain some credibility amongst the Packers fan and community, and maybe put a death blow to the Chicago Bears division hopes. Break down what you're expecting to see from the Packers as they play in one of the biggest games of the week, Saturday night, 8:00 Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, I got no idea. I'm just going to be honest with you. So I can just tell you from a numbers perspective of, say hypothetical, none of those injuries on Sunday played. Packers, same healthy team they had before. I would make the Packers a 4-point favorite. But
I have Chicago. So you think they're 6 points better than the Bears?
I think about 6.5. Yes, about 6.5.
Okay.
Which was shown in the first time. But I will say
wasn't that 7 on a neutral, so shouldn't that be 4.5? They were 4.5 points better.
Yes, but I have upgraded Chicago. I do weekly upgrades. I have upgraded Chicago because they honestly were better in the Packers game than I thought they honestly were going to be. They were really good in the second half. So I'll give them credit for that. And they did what they had to do against the Browns. But like I said, Parsons for me is worth a point. So you go from 4 down to 3. I personally have Zach Tom, the right tackle, and Christian Watson combined for 0.5 point, which makes this 2.5.
I almost think it's a full point combined.
You could make the argument for that. I think Watson is insanely valuable for this team. Zach Tom he is valuable, but I don't think it's as impactful against a Chicago team that doesn't really get pressure. Like we saw when he went out with Denver and that pass rush could do. Chicago's not a team that generally gets a lot of pressure on the quarterback anyways. So I'm not as concerned about that. But the Watson injury is huge. The Parsons injury is huge. I just don't know what to expect. And look, everyone knows how confident I've been on the Packers all season long. I've said for weeks now, I thought they were the second best team in the NFL, only behind the Rams. I can't confidently say that anymore. The reality is at some point you lose your all-pro tight end, you lose your all-pro center in Elton Jenkins for the year, you lose your Pro Bowler Zach Tom, right? You lose Christian Watson, your best receiver, and then you lose the best player on your team in Micah Parsons. At some point, right, you can't overcome that type of stuff. And I'm a fan, and of course, I'm
49ers
always going to be optimistic. I don't think they can. I don't think they can.
They're pretty well with all the injuries. If you would have told me at the beginning of the year, I would think that the 49ers record would be like 4-10 right now.
100%. And that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not buying the notion, like the media is all saying, it's like, oh, it's over. The season's done. Did I feel that way right when it happened? Like right when it happened, I felt that way. I
would like Detroit more against you guys than Chicago this week.
Say what?
If it was going to be, I was going to bet on an NFC North team to deal the death blow, I would like Detroit's chances.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, it depends. I don't know what to fully expect of this team, but like I said, I still think that the Packers have really good players on their team. I think they have good coaching in Matt LaFleur, and I think the defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley, is really good. The reality is, though, you can't replace a guy like Micah Parsons with an individual player. It's going to have to be in like an aggregate, right? You're going to need Rashawn Gary to step up, Lucas Van Ness to step up, Britton Cox to come back and step up. Like, you're just going to need a bunch of other players to make plays, and I can't sit here confidently and be like, yeah, that's totally going to happen. Like, I don't know. I know just as much as you know, like, right? Like, how is this team going to fully look with all of these pieces out? You miss one or two of these guys, it's a little bit different, but at some point it is going to add up. And I think that the Packers defense is honestly, like, if people thought like that was a bad deal and people thought like Micah Parsons was overrated, I just think just watch these probably next few weeks. There's always people out there talking about how the Packers shouldn't have done the trade. Micah Parsons,
you know what? But you know what? Twitter is like, a lot of Twitter is like, if we went out and we were hanging out and there was some homeless dude on the corner, like just yelling, we wouldn't really listen to what he says. But if he writes it down on a tweet, all of a sudden we're all reading it and retweeting it and saying, it's also saying, right?
It's also a lot of the media. A lot of the media have kind of said some of this all year long, and just the Parsons is not worth that much. And all I'm saying is, I just think people are going to realize and be able to visualize.
People love their draft picks. People love their draft picks, right?
Yeah, go draft another guy like Jordan Morgan, right? Or go draft another guy like Matthew Golden, who has no impact, when you could just go get a generational pass rusher like Micah Parsons. And look, it sucks, dude. It's I'll be honest with you, it was devastating, because I genuinely felt like the Packers had a realistic shot to win the Super Bowl. And like I said, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, the season's over, it's this and this, but like the reality is I don't know. Like, and also too, like, not even just from like a quantitative perspective of like us looking at the numbers, how this team is going to be, like, how is this team going to feel like emotionally, right? Like, are they going to be jacked up to come out there and play? Because I watched the interviews. Like, Rashawn Gary looked like someone died, like when they asked him after the game, like he was destroyed. Like, you could tell, like, he was the leader of this team. People loved to play for him, play with him. He helped guys like Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness so much, but again, I just can't confidently come out here and be like, yeah, the Packers are going to win. I'm a little nervous about this game. I think Chicago is better than I initially gave them credit for. I think Ben Johnson is a really, really good coach. I will say the fact that the Bears probably won't have Rome Odunze, and also Luther Burden didn't practice it too because he got hurt last week. I think that could hurt them a little bit too, but they're going to want to run the football, like that. We saw that in the second half. So we'll see. Again, I don't know. I will end this with one thing is I think Matthew Golden absolutely needs more playing time. Like, if you watch the Packers-Broncos game, as soon as he got out there, and Tyler gets in and can laugh, but this isn't fantasy football. Like, people
it's
sometimes
every Green Bay fan I know has just been like golden this, golden that all year.
He doesn't get a play. It's like I think sometimes we get in fantasy football mindsets where we're like, oh, this player is a bust. It's like, we're playing real life football. Like, he's a bust because he plays 20% of the snaps, because this is what Matt LaFleur has done his entire career.
He just needs to run Watson's routes. Just run straight down the field.
No, Watson has ended up being much more of like a slant guy and a crosser the last several weeks, which is why he's actually ended up being.
Let's make Golden into what Watson was his rookie year and just run him straight down the field.
I disagree. Like, if you watch the Packers-Broncos game in that fourth quarter, like Spread said he watched it, like, Golden was
pissing me off because I bet Broncos plus 3.5, and I'm like, because I drafted him in almost every fantasy league, right? And he didn't do anything for me all year. I go, if this guy just ruins my fantasy season, but then kills my Broncos plus 3.5, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, he didn't get playing time. You know what I mean? It's like he doesn't play. And with Watson now, I think he needs to play. Like, Dobbs to me is the biggest. He's like the definition of just a guy. There's no upside with Dobbs. He catches the ball, he falls to the ground, or he's in the end zone and catches it. Like Matthew Golden, you saw last week make multiple big time catches in the fourth quarter when he had to get playing time. So I just think you have to get him out there. You just can't, if you are running Dobbs out there.
Well, I mean, I don't think they have a choice.
I think they'll probably play Wicks over him. If Wicks is healthy enough, I should say. But like I said, I think like people just saying like Matthew Golden is a bust. I just think that is just like a fantasy football mindset because you drafted him in the 8th round. And so, yes, he was a bust from that standpoint, but like, you have to get playing time to be able to produce.
Fantasy season, but I don't think it's great. I think
when he's out there, he makes an impact.
Yeah, and of course, we've seen plenty of receivers. Devontae Adams wasn't very good his rookie year either. Tyler, break down this game for me. I want to hear reasons to bet the Bears. I want to bet the Bears so bad. I want to come on here next week, and I want to, sing Ben Johnson's praises. There's another guy I've done a complete 180 on, and I'm ready to embrace that mindset, Tyler. Can you give me reasons to do it, or do you think that what I saw in that game, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago? It was only 2 weeks ago. Is enough to dissuade me from staying off this game.
No, I think the fact that there's so many variables that are unknown should sway you from trying to bet this game. Yeah. We don't know what Green Bay's going to look like with all these guys out. Chicago's so wishy-washy. Why would you want to bet this game in the first place? It's going to be one of the better games of the week, but let it just be an entertainment game from the point of view. You don't need to bet every game, and this game just screams one. One side's going to be really right in this game.
Maybe live bet it.
I can't tell you which one.
I was going to say, that's going to be my next question, Tyler. All right, I want to support the Bears. We're not going to do it at +1. What's my live bet target? We used to do this on the show with Keg all the time. We target just a number. 4.5, 6.5, 7.5. How high do you think I should wait before I take Chicago?
Be completely honest, I wouldn't get involved in this game spread.
Okay.
Because
that's an honest answer.
It's one of those things where, Green Bay scores first, Caleb throws pick. You're like, cool, I'll get in at 7.5. What if Caleb just puts up an absolute stinker and Green Bay beats him by 14-20? Or what if Chicago goes out and scores right off the bat and you're like, okay, I'll get on Green Bay at +14. There's no way Chicago blows them out. And Green Bay's just not the same team with all these injuries now. The pile is finally rolled over and it's just an avalanche from there. It just smells like a game I don't want any money involved.
Yeah, I agree. And I will say, like, if you do really want to bet the Bears, I think this is going to go down to +1 and probably a pick 'em. To be honest with you, I was thinking
my live target could be 4.5.
Jayme will know what I'm talking about here. This is 100% the football version of those MMA fights that are a pick 'em line. But when they close that cage door and in round one of those guys is going to look -500.
Oh, yeah.
This is this football version of that. One of these teams is going to blow the other one out.
You really think so? You don't think it's going to be like last time? You don't think I'm going to be on the edge of my seat there?
Think about all the players you named that made giant impacts in that game that aren't going to be there. You have no idea what this game is going to look like.
Doesn't mean the game won't be close, though.
Yeah, but it's just not.
Both teams have suffered losses.
You're basically
investing money in.
Yeah, and I will say that the difference is last time is you got the +6.5. So the game was like the Packers won by 7, right? Like you're just basically betting on Chicago to win the game, right? Like in reality, that is pretty much
okay. But I'm telling you, if I want to bet it live, my point was I should be able to target, and I think at 4.5, I'll be good.
I don't know. This is like Tyler said, genuinely, I would love, you guys know me. If I was super confident, I would come in and say, like I did 2 weeks ago.
No, I know.
The Packers are going to do. I genuinely, I don't know. And that's not me being like, I kind of lean the Bears.
You know what's making me worried is that Malik Willis game. Right? LaFleur schemed around these injuries before.
I was just going to say that. I like Ben Johnson. I still think that the coaching edge is Matt LaFleur. And I've seen several times where the Packers, I also think there's something to the Packers might play more free. The pressure's off. Like if you listen to any of the media, most people think that the Packers are just done. Maybe they go out there and they shred them. I just don't think the Bears have a good defense. They do play man coverage at a league high rate, like top 3 or 4 rate. That is something that Jordan Love has shredded throughout his career. But And also, though, that is normally what Watson does. And look, to be honest, we don't know if Christian Watson is going to play. I don't think he does. We don't know if Zach Tom's going to play. I don't think he does. We also don't know if Evan Williams is going to play. So there's like a lot of variables at stake here.
Do they have a chance to play?
Do who? Odunze?
Rome?
Does it matter?
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
He's a very good player.
He hasn't done shit in like 6 weeks.
I don't think Odunze plays.
To me, I think there matters.
The more impactful player, in my opinion, is Luther Burden. I think Luther Burden is actually really good, and I think Rome is definitely more likely to be out. From what I've been reading for the last several weeks, is like he has like a stress fracture in his foot, right? Like that generally people don't come back in a couple of weeks. And I saw that he was week to week and not day to day, which gives me more concern. Luther Burden, who didn't practice today, I think is the bigger question mark for the Bears. And again, it's one of those things like again, you'll know because I think if the Packers get out to a lead, they just benefit so much more. If the Bears get out to a lead, that's going to benefit the Bears because that's what the Bears want to do, right? The Bears want to have these 10 to 12 play drives that take 7 minutes. To be fair,
even when they were down 2 touchdowns in that last game, they didn't abandon the run. They're going to run.
But the Packers did miss an opportunity to bury them, when they were up 14-3.
Fun little exercise right here, fellas. We're going to go over Chicago's last 10 games, and we're going to talk about where's like the impressive wins and that. So they beat Washington by 1. They beat New Orleans by 8. They lost by 14 to the Ravens. They beat Cincinnati by 5. They beat the Giants by 4. They beat Minnesota by 2. They beat the Steelers by 3. They beat Philly by 9. They lost to Green Bay by 7, and they beat Cleveland 31-3. None of those impressed me.
Philly has to impress.
Philly doesn't look like this. Philly hasn't won a game in like a month.
If you don't count a win over Philly, who do we count a win over?
Spread this.
They're
Philly
the defending Super Bowl champions.
It doesn't matter.
They just won 31-0 last week. They're not a terrible team.
The Chiefs were defending Super Bowl champs last year, and we all knew damn well they didn't have a shot in that Super Bowl.
No, I argued with you guys the whole time. I was not Mr. Horseshoe last year. I thought they were a good, solid team that was winning off the strength of experience and
off the strength of friendship.
The other thing I would say to counter your point is that the Bears aren't built to blow teams out. When you have that running defense base, you're never going to have that huge point differential, which is why, teams like the Lions and the Cowboys are going to jump out when you do stats the way I do them and you make your model the way I do them because you can get that huge margin.
My last point on this. And what Tyler has said for weeks. Check the calendar. Is it December? Yes. Bet the Packers. Right? Like all right. Is Matt LaFleur still holding the clipboard? Is he still putting the headset on? And he's also, let's be honest.
I mean, to be fair, I think Ben Johnson's undefeated as the head coach in December.
He hasn't. Was that?
Oh no, that game was in December, huh?
They lost it. I was gonna say.
I thought that was like November 30th or something.
No, he started off 0-1 as a head coach, brother.
All right. He's only 500. All right, fair enough. Okay, guys, give me some emotional support here. Can the New York Giants beat the Minnesota Vikings? Is there any way that happens?
That's another one. What are we doing?
What are we doing?
We are rooting for spread to get a number 1 draft pick overall, Tyler. Something you've been dreaming about for years. You dream about the number 1 draft pick more than you dream about a Super Bowl.
We're talking about just rooting. I thought you were talking about betting on that game. I was gonna say, what are we doing?
No. I would just want to talk about it.
So could the Giants beat Minnesota?
Yes, they can, right?
Yeah, they can. My biggest worry though is like this might be Dart's funeral game. Like Flores is gonna send heat his way. He might get crushed this game.
Yeah, and look, everyone knows me. I'm a Dart guy. He has not played. He has not thrown the football very well the last couple weeks. He
can't see straight,
dude. He's had 5 concussions in 10 weeks.
I know.
I'm worried we're gonna get Tua here, where the guy's just brain dead by year 5.
He is just in a part of you respect it because he is just a gamer, but it's like, bro, you can't do this. You know what I mean?
No, I almost wonder if you're gonna be right on that player take, Jayme. But in the end, it's not going to matter because his time in the league is going to be so short, because
he might play like 3
he goes
years
to the blue tent every week.
Yeah, it's
he's like Anthony Davis.
Bad.
Like Oh, he's leaving the game again?
To the locker room. Yeah, 100%. I'd lean, honestly. I'm not betting it, but if I did, I would just bet Minnesota like that -2.5. I mean, like you said, the much better defense. And hey, JJ McCarthy looked pretty good. Again, it was against Dallas, not like anything special, but like he looked pretty good. And the Giants defense is not that good either. I would lead with Minnesota, but for you, I will root for the Giants
and you're going to root for yourself because you're Jackson Dart, right? Maybe he puts up 470 yards.
There you go.
Can you imagine if he broke the fantasy slate, the best ball slate this week?
I have one team with him, so I'd be okay with it.
I don't think he will against the Vikings, but yeah. Okay,
Probably
so anyways,
no.
I'm rooting for the Giants. Tyler doesn't want to talk about.
Matter? Like if you're in the 2 slot, no one's gonna I don't think anyone's gonna jump you guys and take that pick to take Mendoza. You guys are fine. You guys are fine in the 2 slot. I think the Giants are just gonna add that.
I don't think so.
I think if you're the Giants, I mean, yeah, Dart might not last 3 years, but like Scadabo's coming back, Neighbors is coming back, Slayton and those guys are your other wide receivers.
But there's like 8 teams that want quarterbacks that might try and move up.
No, this isn't the quarterback class. I don't think a lot of guys are going to trade up. Like, what 8 teams are just chasing quarterback spread?
Dude, those are awesome interviews, dude. I love that, dude.
Like the only teams that are chasing quarterbacks are you guys, the Browns possibly, who are still talking about Watson. Yeah. You have the Jets, who might not even draft a quarterback. The Cardinals maybe, if they move on. That's not guaranteed.
It's guaranteed. Tyler's not coming back.
You could say it's guaranteed, but he's got a big contract. He could be back here. What if somebody else doesn't want it?
They don't want him. He's done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying. You don't need to be in the 1 spot. You can get your guy.
I hope you're right. I was worried that we missed out on Shedeur Sanders last year when we lost that game, won that game. I think it was against Jacksonville. And and it turns out we had 5 opportunities for him and we still didn't take him. All right. Buccaneers and Panthers. Tyler, we're not going to bet these games. We're just talking about them. But if I were to bet it, just the way the Panthers are, I would just take them, right? Coming off a terrible loss, it just seems like the time we want to take them, this Jekyll and Hyde team. Jayme, you talked about that game a little earlier. Tyler, what do you think, man? Are the Bucs done for the year? Can the Panthers do something at home and prove they're a real team again?
I mean, sure. Like I don't have like a breakdown for you on this one. Like yeah, the Tampa Bay could do it. Oh, now flip the script. Oh yeah, Carolina could do it. Like it's just a game. Like yeah.
We'll be quick then. Any final thoughts on that game, Jayme?
No, I mean I would like I do have some Evans and Egbuka and Dowdle, so I will be watching this game from a fantasy perspective.
Oh, so you're going over 45.5.
I would love that. I would love that. Baker has been bad, man. Like, dude, he almost killed.
He's playing with like a broken shoulder. He shouldn't be out there.
What causes
the same thing that happened in Cleveland?
The Panthers winning?
Of what?
If the Panthers win, that causes more chaos in the division, right? Well, they're both 7
because the bucket. Yeah.
Just let them tie.
Wouldn't that be great?
Good tie.
Do you think the Titans can get a cover against the Kansas City Chiefs, Tyler? We're not betting these. We're just talking.
Tyler's sick about it. As soon as you said Titans, I was like, oh, I look at Tyler's face like, oh, he's not good.
That's half the reason I do it, to get people to watch and not just listen.
You skip like
Cam Ward season. Jayme, are you with me? Are you with me? Cam Ward season plus 3.5. Let's go.
If you're gonna bet the 3.5, you bet them outright.
Yeah.
The 156?
Yes, because if they're going to cover that spread, the Chiefs have given up, and the Titans are just going to win the game outright.
Yeah, and that's I know we talked to a lot about like teams giving up, and does that happen? Like the Chiefs definitely fit the criteria.
I want to say,
you think you think Kelsey's going to go out there and try to take hits? You know what I mean?
Did you hear Chris Jones' interview? He said, "Are we eliminated from playoffs?" They said, "Yeah." He went, "All right."
Yeah.
Do you think that dude wants to play football the rest of the year?
No. Yeah.
You think the Super Bowl, four straight years. However many years of the last so many, there is no way they care about football right now.
No, Travis Kelce's got a multi-million-dollar company, a little podcast, about to get married to a billionaire.
Bro, how is that? That podcast is terrible.
I don't mind it. I don't watch it. I don't watch it like routinely, but I watch it.
Believe that it's that popular.
I've watched it based off of like the guests. You know, if there's like some funny guests, like when Adam Sandler was on there, I watched it because I like Adam Sandler, so it's cool to watch.
Maybe I need to check that one. And I was like, this is not. I don't know. Maybe I don't like gambling. Yeah.
Not talking about the spread enough.
even though I talk crap about statistics, most of the podcasts I listen to are just 1 hour's worth of statistics just recited into my ear. All right, Tyler, just for you, we'll skip the Falcons and the Cardinals, but I need your thoughts on the Jaguars and the Broncos. I hope that one meets your acceptable criteria.
That's a battle right there. Tyler. That's a real game.
Give me the breakdown between Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence. Which team has the quarterback advantage? I think that's a good question.
Oh, that's an easy one. The Jags have the quarterback advantage by a mile. Jags 100% have the quarterback advantage.
That's just for you, Mike. You, Mike Rob.
I was just say, cue the Mike Rob comment coming up real quick.
Mind you, it's the Jesse Pinkman meme. We're gonna flip it to Denver. They can't keep getting away with this. Like, I know their defense is absolutely ridiculous. Like, they are loaded on defense. I just can't get how this offense keeps putting it together. I know it's Sean Payton. I've just never looked at Bo Nix.
Because Bo Nix is the baller, and you do not want to. You don't want to
spread. This dude is not. He's not a baller.
How is he not a baller? He keeps coming through in the fourth quarter every game. He's just throwing darts, and it's like 4th and 3. He's completing like 17-yard passes.
It breaks my brain how this guy's actually being good in the NFL after I watched.
I don't understand how it can break your brain. You're going off like, oh, he sucked at Auburn when he was 18 years old.
Every year in college until that last year at Oregon, when all he did was check down. That dude was ass cheeks in college.
So it's called improving, Tyler.
It doesn't work in my head. Spread my brain splitting in half when I just don't.
You need to erase that.
Mold.
You need to get.
He fits the mold of the Sam Darnolds, where this is going to come to an end at an abrupt halt at any moment. So, like,
okay, my next question for you is: will this week be that moment? Because Jaguars got a good defense. I don't think so. Because they're hitting.
They're at home, and the Jags do look like they're hitting on all cylinders. But like, it's Denver, and they're at home, and they play up to competition. They play down to competition. They're probably going to beat the Jags. So, I mean, I lean towards Denver, but I'm not betting this game. One
thing I'll say:
my
when
personal
you're
rooting
slander, look what Trevor has to work with compared to Nick's.
My personal rooting interest will be on the Jags. I'd rather see them win.
Yeah, it's tough because the Jaguars are a cat team, but I have been a Bo Nix truther. Jayme, your breakdown of the Jaguars versus the Broncos.
Yeah, I do lean with the Broncos, but I mean, look, I love Liam Cohen's awesome. Like, let's be honest here.
I flipped on him too.
Like, let's be honest here. Like, we all buried Trevor Lawrence for like the first half of this year, and he's probably had just like 3 or 4 best games of his career. Like the last like 4 weeks.
I tried to bring him back to you like 3 weeks ago. You told me you were done with them.
I did, but you know what though? This weekend when it was the first round of the best ball playoffs, and I remembered about how high I was on Trevor Lawrence. He was my second drafted quarterback, and he was my second draft. I had him in 29% of my drafts in the playoffs. So when I saw that 44 points, and I paired with a bunch of Etienne, I was like, oh yeah, I'm back, dude. I'm so back, you know. But I don't know. It's a tough matchup for them, right? Like, let's be honest. Denver's defense is good. They're going to be able to get pressure. But also the Jags, those guys create takeaways, man. And I think Bo Nix is absolutely due for one of these games where he throws 3 or 4 interceptions. It should have happened last week. But it could very easily happen this week against the Jags team that's just pretty good, man. Like, to be honest with you, like, Jacoby Myers was a good addition for them too. Like, he's playing really well. There's going to be no Tootin, so we're going to see a full role for Etienne.
LaQuint Allen will slide in and get some of that work. He won't get all of what Tootin was getting, but Allen
he'll get a little bit, yeah. But I don't think they have as much faith in Allen as they did with Tootin. So I think it'll still be a heavy dose of Etienne. But I think
judging by weather for this game, you know what? I think I'm going to plant my flag. The Jags are winning this game. 50 degrees on Sunday. I thought we were going to get an ugly weather game.
No, it's nice out here in Denver, brother.
It's projected no wind. Yeah, we're getting the Jags win.
I like it.
Love it, Tyler. Tyler taking a stand. All right, Tyler. In honor of what you've done, and we've gone a while already, we'll just skip the Bengals Dolphins. I know we usually do Sunday Night Football, but I might just throw that one away.
The Bengals Dolphins aren't Sunday Night Football, is it?
That's what it says on my game, 17-20. What do you see Sunday night
They
football?
flex that game out. It's a 1:00 game.
Oh, what's the Sunday night game then?
Sunday night football.
New England Ravens.
Baltimore.
Okay, well, we already talked about that game. 49ers Colts. I can't let you guys out of here with talking about the return of a guy close to my age to the lineup. If we would have more time for hot takes, I would have shown Jayme how practicing matters, because there's no way that this guy should still be in the league. I can't believe they don't have a younger guy to take the spot. But let's not go into that. Let's just talk about whether or not the 49ers can cover 6 points against the Indianapolis Colts on a total of 46.5. Tyler, start with you. Were you impressed with Old Man Rivers?
I'll say they didn't ask him to do much of anything in that game. Like, he threw a couple outs, he threw a couple like play action deep balls, but like he knew the system coming in because he coaches his team the same way. And you can tell it was like, we are not going to ask you to do anything outside of a couple plays. You're just to hand it off and don't throw it to the other team. Seattle's one of the better defenses. They kept that game close, and that was impressive. San Fran's pretty beat up, but Saul is one of the better coordinators in the league. I think he will scheme up something. And this San Fran team just keeps chugging along. Their offense is starting to put it back together, too. I think that offense is going to be able to put up points here. I think they cover and win this game by at least a touchdown. CMC
you have to wonder how
on
much having the tape on him out there is going to hurt as well, because obviously, McDonald had no idea what they were
exactly
gonna do.
Like if he's as limited as I think he looked, I think that
he hasn't played since 2020. He was going to go in the Hall of Fame next year.
Me and my buddy both, we took a small shot on Seattle's defense to score the first touchdown and just to score a touchdown. Because it was like, what if this dude's arm is just shot? He throws an out route on his first pass, and that dude jumps and takes it to the house. So add in film on him and let Saleh break that film down. I think there's a good chance the Colts can't move the ball on Sunday.
Jayme, are you laying the 6?
I'm not going to touch the game, but I would lean probably with the Colts, or not the Colts, the 49ers over the Colts. I mean, I watched the games. I told you I was excited about it. And like I said, I want to root for Phillip Rivers. Getting Phillip Rivers in the playoffs would just be fun. All right. Like, that's, to be honest with you, I just think it would be fun. But dude, he could not throw that ball 15 or 20 yards downfield. It looks like he shot puts it every time he throws it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the thing is, like, he lost steps in 2020.
Dude, he makes Flacco look like Lamar.
Yeah, Flacco's launching that thing compared to Rivers.
Rivers, like, I'm telling you, it honestly, like, it's like Uncle Rico vibes. Like, the very, like, the short, like, he's just doing that. It's like everything is just so short. He just can't get the ball downfield. And I think when a coach like Saleh can realize, like, I don't think this dude can throw accurately 20 plus yards down the field, right? Like, it's gonna create problems, I think, for him. But like I said, I'm not betting it, and I'm rooting for the Colts. Let's get some Phillip Rivers in the playoffs. But that was I mean, I love too that it came down at the end of the game with him having a chance to come back and win it. You know, like, and they did. He got him in field goal range, but then the defense immediately gave up, field position where Jason Myers kicked the field goal, and then he had 30 some seconds there to try to get back and couldn't do it. It's a fun storyline. I'm just glad he didn't get hurt. And I hope he doesn't get hurt, but I have no interest in betting either one of these teams.
All right. Final thoughts from you, Tyler, and then we'll have Jayme close the show today.
Well, I got a final question for you two guys. Who wins the AFC North? And whoever wins it, how far do they advance in the playoffs?
Because I think they lose in the wild card round.
I was going to say, I think there's two not obvious pathways.
It's question.
It goes one of two ways. Either we win and we get 40 balled by the Patriots in round 1, or Baltimore wins, gets in, and they somehow get to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think
how many years have we heard that Lamar's a regular season merchant, can't win in the playoffs? Now the dude can't buy a regular season win.
Yeah.
You're going to see a whole different Lamar in the playoffs if he gets there.
Yeah.
It's just like the Baker deal. I just don't think he's 100%. I think everyone's going to write him off, and he's going to fall in best ball draft next summer, and then he's going to come back fully healthy and look how he was, for the Lamar that we know.
I think if Pittsburgh wins, they're losing the wild card. I think my prediction is I think Ravens win the division, and I think Ravens can go to the AFC Championship game. Because I'm telling you, regardless of what we think about the Ravens, if it comes down to Ravens versus the Patriots, or we already kind of see that, but the Ravens versus the Broncos, it's probably going to be a pick 'em. It's just like
they're getting
we already said
eliminated this week.
They're 3-point favorites over the Patriots right now at home. It would be a pick 'em.
They can't
in
get
New England.
eliminated this week.
Yeah, they can't get eliminated.
In my mind, they can.
I think there's a scenario though where
the Steelers have to beat the Lions and win next week, and the Ravens have to lose this week and the following week.
Oh wow,
that's the only way that last game means nothing.
Yeah, well, isn't there a chance for Week 17? I need to look it up for Week 17 for the Ravens to mean nothing. Like if they win this week, and then maybe the Lions beat the Steelers.
Yes, if the Ravens win, Lions win, the Ravens could just not show up next week. They could just legit forfeit that game.
And then Week 18 is going to decide the division.
Yep. And I can guarantee you that game's getting flexed into Sunday night.
Yeah. Well, and that's why as a Packer fan, I'm kind of like, obviously, if the Packers win and then the Steelers beat the Lions, the Packers are automatically clinched, but also works too. Whereas like if the Ravens win and the Steelers beat Steelers lose to the Lions,
which is
the
more
Packers
likely.
play the Ravens following week on Saturday night.
You guys might
Snoop
be playing backups all of a sudden.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you play Snoop Huntley and no Derrick Henry.
Exactly. So that's why, like, as a Packer fan, I'm kind of like, that's probably why I was a little biased on Baltimore earlier.
It's like the meme where the guy has to push the button and he's sweating.
Yeah, it's like which button.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, 100%.
Tyler, is that Week 18 game in Pittsburgh?
Yes.
I thought
yes, because we played them at Baltimore a few weeks ago.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Jayme, final words of the show.
Yeah, fun shopping up with you guys again. Good luck to everyone out there that's still in the best ball playoffs. Hopefully someone can win something and we can represent Fanspeak in the right way. So good luck to everyone this week.
Fanspeak, where the plan runs deep. The team grind hard, don't eat, don't sleep. From best ball dreams to DFS streaks, they help you print money every single week. No cap, no gimmicks, we breaking limits.